Hello and welcome to another AGK tutorial. This one's basically carrying on from the last one with parallax scrolling. Still got the little program I had in the last one there running, and I've changed the images, although I've not changed them here yet. I'll quickly run it and see how it runs. That's the new images. You can see it's still scrolling. Well, that's a little bit fast and a bit scaled and not very nice, because obviously these are new images now and I haven't set them up yet, but it still works with just the basic UV scrolling fine. So first of all, I'm going to change the images because I have altered them a little. So I'm going to change that to sky. Backdrop 1B can be backdrop 2, I think. And this one could be backdrop 1 still. That should work. And then I need to do one more. Let's just make sure we've got the sprites loaded. Yeah, I've got a sky now. Okay, so let's copy that. What do we want to call this? I'm going to change this completely. I'm going to call it tile 2. Tile 2. Tile 2. This is just to keep it so I know which ones I'm working with. Oops, tile 2. Right, that's that added. Now it's not going to work because obviously, well, let's have a look. Yeah, it's just adding an extra background there, but that's what we want, almost. Right, so let's just separate these out. Let's actually put down what they are. So this is going to be the back layer, the sky. The next one is going to be the middle layer, we'll call it. Why not? And this one, we'll call it the front layer. In fact, we'll call it tile just so I can keep it easier to follow. And this one is still the front layer, and it's tile 2. This is because we're going to try and get a little bit more complicated images on, and so you can actually scroll some decent graphics across. Right, now as well as that, we need to add a few extra bits and pieces here. So we need to position the sprite. Backdrop SP 0, 160, I think, and I've typed that wrong. That's basically positioning it pretty much the same place. It's pushing it 160 down because the sprite size is a different size. It's not full screen anymore. No point using the entire screen if you don't need it. So that's all I've done there. It's just left corner and pushed it down on the Y axis. We're going to do the same for that one. So obviously that's tile 2. I have to excuse my terrible naming conventions here, but it will do. It will work. And that's going to be the same position, but we push it 1280 across because that's the size I'm setting here, as you can see, 1280. And now if I run it, hopefully it'll work the same as before, except it's been positioned down the bottom. Still looks a bit stretched and strange. I've probably got to change that a bit. Still working with the UV coordinates, and tile 2 is doing pretty much nothing at the moment because it's hidden off the side of the screen. But that's setting it up in readiness. So I think that's all there. Let me just think what size I'm setting. Oh yeah, because I'm setting them to the full size of the screen still. That's why it looks stretched. So I'm going to have to change that to the size of the tile, which should be 320. 20 there. That's not that you'll see that one, but let's have a look how that looks. That's it. That's more like how it should look. Right, so now we've got that set up. Let's just get a third image. I'm just going to call it third image for now. And that's just going to be this command. Copy and paste that. And we want to call it 3 image. And I'm going to call it 1B, I believe. No, 1C, because that's what I've got above. In fact, it isn't what I've got above, because I haven't changed that yet. 1B. So I've got background 1, 1B, and 1C, which are basically designed to fit together. But I'm not creating a sprite of that one, because I don't need to. I just need images from that point on. You just could load as many images as you wanted. To have a big long scrolling area. Right, okay, let me think. It's getting a bit more complicated now, so let's have a variable called image count, and we want that to equal, now this is one problem using names as image IDs, because you know, you can't just use numbers and it starts getting a little bit more confusing, but not really. We'll get round it easy enough. So that's basically setting image count to equal backdrop IM, which is the first image I've loaded up. There, which is the first image you use, and that knows which way to count through then, I hope. It should work. Right, okay, in the do loop, we're going to have to change this X scroll business a little bit, because that's scrolling UV coordinates. So let's just, for now, round these out. We don't want them. And we're going to have to change X scroll around a bit. So let's just put in this first, X scroll. We'll use hash just in case you wanted to use non-integers. So that's just going to be equals there. That's just resetting it every time it loops around. And then in get raw key state, we're going to change this X scroll to a better number. So I'm going to have 2. And we're going to have that to -2. So now we're increasing X scroll by 2 or -2 each loop, and it's resetting it so it's always only ever going to be 2 or -2, and that we can use that to position the sprite, which we'll do now. And so it's backdrop SP, which is the first sprite. Get sprite X backdrop SP again, and that's going to be minus scroll X hash, and the initial position, you could use get sprite Y, but I'm just going to use 160 because I know what it is. That's what I set it to. Right, so that should move the sprite about. Not entirely certain it'll work straight away yet, but we'll have a quick look. No, that's definitely not doing anything. Right, okay. No problem. Silly me. X scroll. There we go, that's not looking. So now, haha, we should have liftoff. Whee! Of course, it doesn't do much more. Oh, come back there. Right. That seemed a bit strange. No. Okay, we'll carry on. It's working. Ish. Right, so that's the first sprite moving. Quite quickly, by the looks. So we need to really get that other sprite working. So let's just copy this. and that's going to be backdrop. Oh, I think it's tile SP. I've put it in tile 2, and that will be tile 2. And that's going to be the same. So now if I run that, we should have, oh, I pressed the wrong way. Yep, it's got 2 images now before it goes off. Yeah, and I've remmed that out. And I was looking for what was causing it not to work. Okay, that'll stop it being slightly weird. There we go. It's more like it. Right, so that's moving both of those tiles across. So you've got basically 2 lots of 1280s. That's got a fair big image, and then we've got the 3rd image there as well, which we're going to integrate. But that's going to require a lot more code. Not necessarily, it wouldn't do if you just wanted to just use 3 images, I suppose, but I'm going to do it in the assumption that you're going to want to use more than 3 images eventually. So let's get started. We need to check the sprite position, the X position specifically, backdrop SP again, and we want to check whether it's less than and equal to 1280. I should have thought, well, minus 1280. Yeah, minus 1280. We use that first. And if and we want to set image count to image count +1. In fact, now +2, now +1. I'm going mad. Yeah, just 1 image. It's nothing to do with the amount of pixels. And now we want if image count is greater than. Now this is another reason why it's strange to use these names rather than numbers. But I know backdrop IM is going to be that, and I know there's 3 images, so +2 is the maximum amount across it can go. I hope I'm making this clear. It is sometimes difficult when you start getting into more complicated things to explain things nicely. Right, and yeah, all we need to do is image count equals backdrop IM, and that should reset it nicely. And then in here we need to set the sprite position. In fact, we might not need to set the sprite position, but I'm going to do it anyway. Backdrop SP. Oh no, we definitely need to do this. I'm going mad. And it's going to be, it's going left minus, so we're going to have to push it forward, so that's 640 on the X value, and again 160, which is just the standard one. 640 being the right hand side of the screen because it's checking when it's going left with the minus 1280. And also set sprite image, because it's going to have to change at this point, because this is when it's moving the sprite back in front. And we'll just call that image count, which is what image count is there for, because that's counting through. So that should basically, as soon as the image gets to equal or less than minus 1280, it'll move that sprite to 640 by 160. Simple as that. It'll count through the images so it can change. As soon as it gets to image 3, which that'll be with backdrop IM +2, it'll put it back to 1 again, and it'll just keep looping around. And obviously you can make that as big as you want, as many images. You could even get mad, put it in an array, and use the same images repeatedly, and all around, just have a little array of the image numbers that you need to do it. But that's getting more complicated. I'm not going to bother doing that. That's for you to play with at your own leisure. Now I think I think that should just work as it is. Only the one way, obviously. Let's see what it does. Oh no, I've got to go right. That seems a bit slow. Of course, it can be hard to tell because it's, you know, pretty seamless. You say I'm going, and I'm pretty much guesstimating that is working. I know it works because I've, you know, played with this earlier to make sure it would work when I come to actually recode it. So yeah, that's working fine. And of course, you want to do it the other way. So copy all that lot, which is way better. I don't have to keep typing. And this is going to be backdrop tile 2 SB because that's our second tile. We're going to still want it to be less than 1280 because remember there's two tiles. There's the one that you see initially and there's one across to the right. And this is the one across to the right that we're now moving to match as well. Because if I'd have kept on going there, you'd have had sort of one bit where there was a tile missing, it'd scroll along, then you get a tile, and then it'd be missing again because this sprite would be scrolling to the left indefinitely without this code, obviously. So I've just got to change all these backdrop. Oh no, well, backdrop image here, so it's tile 2. And that one, tile 2, get them to match. I think that's pretty much done. It always seems too easy when you only have to change a couple of things, but that's just, well, not that I'm going to know because I can't do it on the left and right yet. I should increase the speed. I'll just go along, if nothing strange happens then it's working. If suddenly a tile plops up somewhere in front of us, it's not working. That looks good, that looks good to me, it's working. Oh no, it's working. It's definitely fine, everything's good there. Right, now we need to go the other way. And that again is going to be copy all that lot. Now of course you could do this quite a bit more efficiently if you wanted to. There's quite a lot of code here I'm repeating. You can get away without repeating. You could have a go sub or a function and it'd do most of this code. You'd only have to change a few bits, but again I'm just doing this quick and easy. The easiest way for me to show you is to do it like this. So instead of less than, we want greater than. I'm not sure whether I want equals on that. I'm just going to use greater than on that for now. I'll see how it goes. And again, image count is just going to be going up the same. Doesn't matter. Just got to change basically the tile. Oh no, the tiles are all perfect, obviously, because there's only the two. Yeah. Just change this again. Great. Greater than 1280, which is on the right hand side, obviously. That's when you're moving left. And obviously we need to position this differently. That's going to be minus 1280. Well, you would think it would be minus 1280. We'll use minus 1280 for now, but I know it's not going to work. And that minus 1280. Right, so now that should basically, hopefully, so I've missed something. It's trouble copying and pasting, it's very easy to miss things. Should work on the left as well. But you can see, oh, there's a little gap there. And it happens to be a 2 pixel gap, strangely enough. And that's what I mean by not working. But it is working, it's just got a little pixel gap there. So the easy way to get around that is, I know the speed's 2. I'm just going to put 78. Now you could just go 1280 minus the X speed. variable. If you wanted, just use x scroll hash and do that. 1280 minus x scroll hash. That was if you want a variable speed. It'll work it out automatically, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to use minus 1278. Now you can see we've got no glitch, and it's pretty much working. Pretty much done. Apart from the backdrops are moving. Now I'm going to do the backdrops, but I'm not going to bother doing it with sprites the same way, because you can get away with, you know, that's the beauty of UV scrolling, is you can use it for your backgrounds layers. I didn't in Obliterator, which this is based on, although this is actually a better engine than Obliterator. I actually used 3 images in that instead of 2, because I thought, oh well, I've got the image on my main screen here, I'm going to have an image to the left, image to the right, and flick through those images as I move. But you know, when I sat down to do it with this one, I thought, well, I don't need to. I've got this image here. I'm going to have one to the right. As soon as I move to the left, I'm just going to get that image and shove it across. There's no point having 3. So this is more efficient than my Obliterator game. But then again, Obliterator was my very ever first game in AGK. It's not finished. But you know, when AGK first came out, I'd got sort of level 1 of that all going nicely in the first week. Right now, what am I doing? I'm getting distracting myself here. Yep, we won't get the backdrop images working. So, okay, let's put the UV offset back on for now. Now this is not going to work. This is going to be horrible, horrible. I can guarantee it. 2 and 3. I'm pretty certain that's going to be right still. 2 and 3. Yep. So let's just quickly try it. It's going to sort of blob them. Blop, 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 like that. Because obviously X scroll is now -2 or 2. Never changes. So the UV scroll does not work anymore. And the easiest way is to just put some new ones in just for the backdrops. So what can I set it to? Put it in here, and we'll go X scroll, oh, can't type, X scroll 2 hash equals X scroll 2 hash plus UV coordinates. You've got to use very small numbers. Want it slow, that'll do. That should do it nicely. And again, another one for the third layer. 3 equals X scroll 3 hash plus, make it big, small now, 0.02, and point will help rather than comma. There we go. And basically copy that, put it in there. Obviously this isn't ideal. You'd probably try and work off one variable if you was doing it for a full game, but this is just an easy way for me to just get it working for now. And put that in minus and minus, and hopefully, nope, it's not working because I haven't changed it, don't think. Here, no. So what did I call them? Perhaps X scroll 2 and 3. 2 and 3 times points. Actually, you don't need that anymore. I'll put it in for now. Leave it in. There we go. We've got a bit of scrolling. Let's get rid of this now because I've just set the value in manually at the start. That's a bit more like it. So you've got to scroll. It's 3 screens wide. It can be as wide as you want. You can add loads, you know. And obviously, if you wanted to go into tiles and making your screen out of lots of small blocks, it's pretty much the same idea. You've just got to check your sprites positions on the left and right edges and move them back and forth as you need to, and you've basically got a huge scrolling demo or game. You can work on your Fantasy Zone clone or Defender, whatever R-Type. You can sort of work on a good shooter with this, and there we go. I'm nowhere near through yet. There's got to be a volcano on the last image. There's the volcano. That's just with 3, and it will just loop round. So after the volcano and a little bit there, we get on to the next image, and just loops forever. That will go forever and ever and ever. Anyway, yeah, I think that's where it joins. There we go. Something like. It's hard to tell because they're quite well done in the main. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, the backdrops are horrible, and I'll have to change those. Let's see, I'm still setting to 480, you know. I need to change them to the size of the images. So the sky is 480 because that's a full size image. Backdrop 2 is actually I think it's 256 because I think that's actually a Para 2 texture for a change. And I've already done that one. Whee! And I haven't positioned it. So now I need to push that down. Set Sprite Position. I haven't put that in at all for Backdrop 2. So yeah, I just need to put a Set Sprite Position in there. 2. And I think that's right, 0.160 is what I'm going to want. Oh no, of course not, it's 256. So that's going to be 64 by 480, 200. 200. Because I don't want it all the way down. Because it'll get hidden by the other image basically. And I think I can get away with that. Yep, that looks a bit more like it. It's a bit more like you'd see in a game rather than that horrible looking thing I got before. And there you go. That's pretty much it. Can't think of anything else. That is parallax scrolling. Obviously you can use that method for all the background ones as well. You can have those long, you know, you don't have to just have one image like I got for those two. But most games tend to do it that way. They'll have the front 1 or 2 layers with a similar system to this where it uses lots of images or tiles, and then the backdrop ones will just be just a scrolling UV, very slowly scrolling UV. So there we go. I hope that's helped you. I'll just scroll slowly down the code in case you've missed anything. I've done this in 720p this time. I don't know if it'll be better than my other tutorials in that respect. I find it more awkward because I can't see as much, but it's probably better on screen when you're watching it. Bigger text to look at. Yeah, and I can just get rid of that now. I don't even need that. And you see, there you go, just under 90 lines, and that's obviously because I like putting lots of spaces in. And you can see AGK again, super simple. It's not optimised by any means. I mean, you wouldn't have all this in the do loop. You'd take it out, you'd put it in sort of control option. Like I say, all this here, very easy for me to quickly do, and you could tidy that up. You could make it so that it's running a subroutine or a function to do virtually all that code, and it just needs to change the image, and it needs to know what sprite and image to work with at the end of that to change it. That's all. But you can mess around optimizing these things forever and a day and never get your game finished. So for quick and dirty development, you're far better off doing this. If you get your game finished, fine, optimize it, start optimizing it. Or if the game's dying on its, you know, it just can't cope, you start looking at optimizing more. But generally you're better off just being simple. Even if you think, oh, it's going to run slower or something, it won't run slower. You know, you're going to be doing a loop. Whatever you do, if you try and tidy this and put it into just a little bit of code, it's still going to be looping, it's still going to be checking lots of things. It's not going to run particularly any slower. You could always take that, like I say, you take that at the main loop, you check to see if you're even pressing a key perhaps, and then check your controls. So that'll take a bit of, you know, the CPU time up, but it's not going to be slowing it down vastly at this stage. Anyway, I think I've digressed a bit too far there. But until next time, I'll catch you later.